Hey guys, this is Flavio Rump, and this is my first YouTube video. And in the series of videos that I'll be releasing over the next weeks, I'd like to dig into some topics that are very dear to my heart. They include critical thinking skills, applied rationality, just in general, how to suck a little bit less at life. Today's topic is going to be a sort of a foundational piece to all that, which is about accurate maps of reality. So we're going to look at how accurate, what maps of accurate reality are, what accurate maps of reality are. We're going to look at how they're useful and how you can build them to really benefit from them. So let's get started. There's a book here that I really like. It's called Principles, and it was written by Ray Dalio. And Ray Dalio is a very successful hedge fund manager, has a fund with over $100 billion assets under management. And, you know, he's really had this sort of very goal-driven and sort of rational approach to life. And he sort of captures that in this book, and I think it's one of the best books that's out there that's ever been written, and I highly recommend you check it out. But today I'd really like to hone in on one of the core concepts that he talks about in his book, and that concept is sort of that formula for success and sort of the principles that sort of come from it, right? The formula for success, he writes, is success is equal to dreams plus reality plus determination, right? So again, dreams plus reality plus determinations equal success. Now, for this topic today, I'm going to assume that you have dreams and that you have determination. That may also not be obvious, but we're going to look at these in some future videos. So for today, let's really dig into the concept of reality and what it means, right? So because, you know, coming from that principle and sort of what I've seen in life, I really feel that, you know, struggling to a manageable degree in life in general is good. I think struggling for an important goal is better, but struggling well for an important goal is best. And what is manageable and what is important is, again, is something you get to figure out over your own life, and you get to define it and find out, right? So, and it's you know, there's a lot of research that shows that having a meaningful life comes from sort of being engaged in activities that you're good at and that you really feel like you're contributing something positive to the world in some wider sense, right? But so now the question is, how do you do that well, right? And I think, how do you struggle well? And I think the answer is by having an accurate map, or many accurate maps of reality. So, and I'll take an example here, and that example is, you know, the mouse that I have here. You know, it allows me to communicate with my computer, and allows me to steer it and control it, right? And if you think about this mouse a little bit, there are lots of different maps of reality that have to be built in order for that mouse to exist, right? There are, on a fundamental level, you know, how atoms work and how electrons work, and sort of how you can use electrons to send signals. And so there's a lot of physics that was necessary to be understood first by scientists and engineers in order to come up with that, right? There's probably some chemistry in here. You know, you have to sort of create these platines where, you know, the microchips, the microcontrollers are on. So how do you bring that together? How do you solder things? Plastics, right? Around the mouse and so forth. There's probably some electromagnetic waves that are being sent back and forth between my computer and this Bluetooth mouse, right? So as you can see, lots of different concepts had to be sort of like models or maps of reality of the world had to be built in order for this mouse to exist, right? And humans have done that, and now we have these amazing mice. So, you know, overall, I think this applies to almost anything you want to do. Is you want to achieve a goal, and the question is, how do you get there? How do you get from where you are, point A, and you want to go somewhere else on the map, point B? So what you're going to need is a map of how you get from A to B, and then you can just walk that path once you know what the path looks like, right? So, you know, the map of reality, you know, on a personal level includes everything about you: biology, health, gender. Psychology includes things like tastes, likes, dislikes, wants, and needs. Your intelligence, you know, mathematical, emotional, social intelligence, the skills you have, the skills you can still learn, relationships you have, family, friends, money, where you live, and so forth. Now, it's important to note that some of these things are more fixed, like your gender, but some others are more malleable, like your skills in various areas. On an external level, on a broader level, this just includes how the world works, right? Physics, biology, chemistry, the workings of humans, fears, wants, desires, and so forth. The workings of organizations, how they work, how they make products, how they sell these products, how they hire, how they fire, how they raise money, governments, how they work, how they create ideologies and policies, and so forth, right? Lots of things about the world that if you understand them, you can start acting in them. The same with the cell phone. Now, it's impossible to know everything about the world, but it doesn't matter. All you need to know is how the world works for the things you'd like to accomplish, for the goals that are relevant to you, right? So, as an example, if you wanted to learn a language, say French, you'll need both determination and an accurate map of reality to succeed. In this case, a map of reality will include two really kind of, in my mind, separate things. The first thing is sort of the map of reality of the French language itself, right? So this includes the grammar, which includes things like how to conjugate verbs, how to decline nouns, where words are positioned in a sentence, and so forth, right? It also includes the vocabulary, right? Which words mean what in your native language and vice versa. That's sort of the code of the language, if you will. And it's obviously what you're trying to learn when you want to learn French. But there's a second layer, which is sort of above that, or more of a meta layer, which is more concerned with how do I best learn this language, right? It's a separate thing. And so, the first version, almost everyone agrees that's what you need to learn. But the second part is, I think a lot of people don't maybe properly build these maps of reality before they start engaging. And I think there's a lot of benefit here. So what do I mean by that? So these are more questions that are concerned with how do you best learn? What is most likely to make you learn this language quickly and correctly? What is most likely to throw you off and slow down your progress? Which classes, books, apps will work with your psychology to keep you on track? How do you track progress, right? What people can you surround yourself with that will force you to speak this language? What accountability system can you build to build a language learning habit? What positive feedback loop can you generate, right? So these are more meta questions, but I think they're sort of really important to ask yourself, because here's where you can learn from others and your own past experiences, and you can sort of dramatically increase the odds of success by spending a little bit of time on that meta level, especially at the beginning, but also periodically throughout the learning process, right? A little pro tip here, you can Google almost anything. You'd be surprised, right? So you could Google best app to learn French. That's kind of straightforward. Maybe best French teacher in your city, but also maybe something like a best way to build a language learning habit, which could be very insightful because there's people that probably tried to learn a lot of languages online, and some people have written about this, and you can sort of learn from their experiences as well, right? You'd be surprised what you can Google. You could Google how to start a restaurant business, and people have written about that. So I think today you could Google almost anything, and at least some information will show up that is going to be relevant to what you're trying to do. So you can hack your reality map by sort of asking lots of other people, and Google is amazing because you have access to almost everyone who has an internet connection by just typing in 20 to 30 characters in your search engine. So now, does that mean, again, I just want to specify a little bit, should you be building these maps of reality, of these meta maps, all the time? How much time should you spend between learning the actual language and learning about how you can learn in this example, right? And I think the answer is some smart combination, right? There's that quote that's attributed to Abraham Lincoln, says, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." Now, I think the overall concept here is accurate, but I would really sort of like further specify that first I want to go look at the tree, and I want to periodically test if the axe is already sharp enough, right? Because if the axe was sharp enough after an hour, maybe I didn't need to spend another 4 hours sharpening it, or maybe the tree is tiny and what I needed is a little saw, so I need to go change my tool, right? So I think what I'm trying to sort of come up with here is that the underlying question you should ask yourself is, what is the fastest and cheapest way to build the most accurate map of reality? And I think the answer is going to be some combination of learning from others through Googling and asking, learning from myself, my past experiences when I tried to attempt similar projects, and actually trying to move towards the goal to get a sort of a feedback from the world and to see how that's working, right? And some interesting combination of doing these things will probably yield the highest return on investment for this thing. So I think that's what I wanted to sort of hone in, and I'm just going to quickly summarize it for you, what we went through today, right? So I started off with that success formula from Ray Dalio, where I sort of laid out what he thinks that success is a combination of you really need these three ingredients of dream plus reality plus determination or effort, right? Now, and coming from that, I believe that struggling well for an important goal is actually key to building a meaningful and satisfying life. Now, the ability to struggle well comes from an accurate map of reality, right? And the map of reality must include both an accurate understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, the vocabulary, the grammar of the language in the example we used, as well as sort of your own psychology and the obstacles in the way. And so this is sort of how you best learn, right? And then then we honed in on the way to build a map of reality is a combination of research by learning from others and your own past experiences, as well as trying things out and getting feedback from the world. And that probably, some combination of that is going to yield the highest return on investment. And we're going to look at more great ways to build maps in future blog posts. We're going to be drawing in from concepts of Ray Dalio and concepts I learned at the Center for Applied Rationality. And I'm going to bring you really the concepts that I found the most useful that you can apply in your life today, right? So if you have comments and questions, please leave them below. If you liked it, please subscribe to my video, to my channel. We're going to be releasing more videos that are going to help you understand the world better. Let me know what you think. And I'm really excited to bring you more interesting content around how the world works and how you can sort of interface with the world in ways that hopefully make life suck a little bit less for you. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.